All right, fourth graders, you have learned about the artist Wayne Thiebaud and his pop art food pieces. And today what we're going to be making is a cupcake. And our cupcake's going to have a lid and a pinch pot bowl. To do those two pieces, you need to start with the pinch pot. So divide your piece of clay in half. One part's going to be for the bottom and one part is for the top. To start with the pinch pot, I'm going to pat the clay into a ball or roll it in my hand. To make my pinch pot, I'm going to use my thumb and I'm just going to press firmly but gently through the ball. Okay, if I go all the way through, that will make a clay donut. Then with my thumb and my forefinger, I'm going to gently, kind of like a crab, gently but firmly pinch and rotate through or around the clay. I am making a pinch pot. If I pinch really hard, I'm going to pinch a hole right through the clay. Okay. Clay is made up with mud, okay, or dirt. You can kind of notice my hands are getting dirty, and water. So my clay will lose its moisture, its water, as I'm working with it. It will soak into my hands or into the paper. So you really only have 1 or 2 tries to get this right, and then your clay will start to dry out. If you've tried twice to make your pinch pot and it's still not working, please raise a quiet hand and it can come and help you. Next, I'm going to use this piece of cardboard, and this is going to add some texture to my clay pinch pot, kind of like you might see on the edge of a cupcake. So to do that, I'm going to put my hand on the inside of the clay bowl, and I'm going to roll it across the cardboard, making this kind of texture on the side, just like a cupcake liner would do on a real cupcake. Alright, once that texture is finished, I'm going to kind of pat the bottom to make sure it's flat, gentle but firm, and write my name, Miss G, and your class code. Make sure I can read this. When I have all of the clay pieces in the kiln and I can't read the names, it makes it very hard to pass those back. I'm ready to make the top. I can make the top a few different ways. The first way is I can make a coil. Okay, I'm going to pull a few pieces out for details on my cupcake. A coil is like making a long snake. I can roll it on the table. I can roll it in my hands. Okay. Sometimes when I'm making a coil, it gets kind of flat on one side, so just use your hand to make it round again. With my coil, I'm going to make sure that it's no thinner than my finger. If my coil starts to get thinner than my finger, it's too thin and it will break in the kiln, or it will break when it comes out. I'm then going to start to spiral my clay around to make frosting for the top of my cupcake. Okay, I need to make sure that it's round enough to fit, or wide enough to fit on my cupcake base. On the inside of my coil frosting, I need to do something called smudging, and that's where I smooth out the coils on the inside so that all of those coils attach together and don't dry separately. Okay, I could do that on the outside as well if I wanted to have a smooth texture, but you need to smudge or blend those coils so that they all fit together. Otherwise, as they dry, the coils will dry separately. Be a little bit smaller. Okay, beautiful. So I can make little details like sprinkles. Make sprinkles, I'm just making little coils. Anytime I make an attachment, I need to do a 3-step process. That score, spreading out the fingers of the clay, slip, adding glue, and pressing so that those fingers lock together. I can do that really easily with a toothbrush. I'm scoring or marking up the clay. The toothbrush is wet, so I'm adding slip, and then I'm going to press to make sure that the coil is attached. I'm going to decorate my cupcake maybe with sprinkles, maybe round sprinkles, anything that you would like to decorate your cupcake with. Okay, I could add maybe like a cherry on top. My cherry might be a sphere. I still need to score, slip, and press though, otherwise that cherry will fall off. And I score, slip, and press on both sides. Remember, if I'm going to make a stem to the cherry and it's smaller than my finger, I've got to have it connecting to my clay, otherwise it will break in the kiln. So this little stem is way thinner than my finger, so it needs to make sure that it connects to something else on my clay. Okay. So that's one way I can do my top. The other way is I could make a flat top, and that flat top could just rest on top of my cupcake bottom. Okay, remember, this is my first time working with this piece of clay. Now it's my second time. If I keep working with it after this, it's going to get dry. Okay, to make a flat top, kind of like a cupcake, I'm just kind of using my hand and pressing it out into a cookie shape. I could use a clay tool once it's thin enough, and I don't want it thinner than my finger. Once it's thin enough, and cut it into a circle. Okay, think about the texture. If I want it to be smooth, I've got to kind of use my finger and smooth that clay out. Could lay on top here like that. Some cupcakes are flat. Maybe I can make it a little bit round. Just kind of play around and see if you can get a look that you like. Okay, so your choices are to make a round top cupcake or a flat top cupcake. Of course, if I'm doing this flat top, I need to add some decorations. Okay, some sprinkles, some frosting. Maybe there's some words written on there. Okay, if I need a little bit of water to smooth, I just dip one finger, just dip it into the top of the water to make a smooth texture. Make sure your name is on the back, and when it is done, it can go to the clay cart outside of the kiln door. I'm excited to see these cupcakes, 4th grade.